All right, it says we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of This Week Unloaded. Tonight we have with us Mr. David Bowling, the kingpin of crime himself. How are you tonight, David?
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. And also joining us tonight, we have Jason Stewart. How are you tonight, Jason?
I'm doing good, Rich. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no problem. So, if anybody's been watching the various shows this week, will know we've had a little bit of a dispute over how big the G2C, the Taurus G2C actually is, with one member of our little family of channels stating that the G2C is the same size as a Glock 19, which it is not. He had an invite, but he has not shown up. He's probably doing video editing or something that he always claims he's doing. And his wife's out there, though. Stacy, if you can, you have a link if you want to join in. I did send you a link if you're able. Anyway, I thought we were, and I thought because of that we could discuss tonight, where everybody's views on what constitutes a full size handgun, a compact handgun, or and a subcompact gun. So before we get started, either of you two have any thoughts on what would constitute the various sizes of the handguns?
Uh, the length of the grip and the length of the slide.
Yeah, mostly for everything I've seen, it's mostly the length of the slide that determines it. It's basically barrel length. But, Kingpin, you any thoughts on that?
What is it again?
In your view, what differentiates, say, a full size from a compact from a subcompact?
I would say probably overall length and overall height would probably be what I would distinguish between full size and compact. Uh, because if you think about it, you got the Glocks with the extra long slide. So what are those extra full size?
Well, those are basically just called long slide. They're full size with a long slide.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I would just say overall length and overall height would put it in full size. That'd be the simplest way for me to try to understand.
Stacy says she's distracting you.
Actually,
Oh,
about my favorite gun is I don't know what you call it. The like on the Sigs they call it like the carry size, but it's like a Glock 19X or whatever. It's got the shorter slide, but it's still got the full size grip.
yeah, the 19X is basically a Glock 17 grip with a Glock 19 slide on it.
We'll see on my Berettas, I have that. It's called a Centurion. That's basically what it is. It's a compact barrel and slide and a full size bottom. I really like that type of gun. And like in a 1911, the Commander size, I really like Commanders. Guns in that area just seem a little more balanced in my hand. You know what I mean? They just feel just a little more balanced. It's like they're as long as they are tall instead of being longer on the top. And it's I just like the feel of that.
The funny part about the 19X, and then what the one they came out with later, which was basically the same thing but in black.
45.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
But people have been asking for like a Glock 17 slide on a 19 frame, and that they have yet to come out with that, which is something that people actually have been requesting. Nobody except for the U.S. military, up until they put the 19X on the market, was actually requesting to Glock to put the 19 slide on a 17 frame. It was always everything I'd ever seen was always the opposite. I was like, that's an interesting choice there when people are asking for the opposite. But then people have been asking for Glock to make a carbine too, and Glock hasn't done that. So yeah, I don't know if Glock's tone deaf or what it is. Any thoughts on that?
Well, Gizzard Gary's got that new carbine set up. The frame system there that goes around the pistol, the Roni, the macaroni.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool, actually.
Have you seen the new one that the one company just came out with for the M17 and 320?
Yeah, I saw a video from Mac on that. That one's kind of cool. You can mount the red dot right in it.
Yeah. Who was it?
Well, you got a SBR that one though, right? That one.
Well,
that
there's
Mac
two versions. There's two versions. You got the one that Tim had, which is categorized as being a stock. Then you have
it was like
that, Honest Outlaw just did the review on the other one. They're identical except for one's considered to be a stock and the other's considered to be a brace.
Yeah, that one is like auto ejects or whatever you would call it, like a automatic stock. You hit the button and it shoots back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, both the one that's considered a stock and the one that's considered a brace do that. The main difference is the one that's considered a brace has a little hook at the bottom, so it can like hook on your forearm. So that's how they get away with calling that one a brace and not a stock. Even calling the one that's a stock though, they call it stock. A stock is pushing a little bit because you see how small that is. It's kind of like the same width as the Shockwave blades. I don't know how much of a stock that is, to be honest.
Yeah.
They probably could have just got away with calling that one a blade, you know.
Yeah. I never looked into them or anything. But you know what the price is on one of those setups?
Didn't Tim say it was like $400 or something for it?
Oh.
If I remember right in his video, he said it was like 400 MSRP or something. They sent it to him for testing, but I believe he said it was like $400 for it.
And then, the one you'd have to SBR. So that
one you would have to SBR it. Yeah,
and the wait time.
Yeah. The brace one is the same price. They're both the same exact price for them. The brace one you wouldn't have to worry about it getting your tax stamp with it. So if you were going to get one, that would probably be the way to go. I mean, honestly, if you look at the one that Tim had on Military Arms Academy, look at the one Honest Outlaw just did the review on too, which had the brace. They look identical, except for the brace one has a little hook at the bottom. That's the only thing that's different between the two of them. So, if I were going to do one, that would be the one I would go with. One thing I don't know about is how long that the frame is at the bottom, because that thing really overlaps the slide and barrel on that thing.
Yeah. I like how the front handle's an extra magazine.
Yeah. Do they make a long slide on the 320? If they do, that would probably be good for that.
Well, I have an M17 and I got a full size 320. They're both the same thing. I think you can like the X5 has like a 5-inch barrel, but the regular gun only has it's like 4.8 something, 4.8. I'll tell you, if you hold them side by side, like you were trying to show Snob the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hold a full-size P320 up, it is exactly the size of a Beretta Centurion barrel and slide length. So it's 4 3/4 maybe. It's not quite 5. So even your full-size SIG there is still less than 5 inches, unless you get a threaded barrel and add a compensator or a silencer or something. But I think just right under 5 inches, as long as you can get.
Yeah, I don't know if you could. I don't know how the front end's made on it, but I don't know if you could get a suppressor on it because of how far that sticks out from the bottom of the slide.
Yeah, that's right. It had something to block your fingers from going in front of the muzzle, didn't it?
Yeah. But But then you got that little rail section that they have on the bottom of that makes it where it sticks out past the slide. And I don't know if you'd be able to get a suppressor on there depending on how that's cut and the size of the suppressor you're trying to put on there. You might be able to get a compensator on there, but so I'm like wondering if they make a long slide that you could put on there instead, and make like 5.5, maybe 6-inch barrel with that.
They
That would
they might in the aftermarket or something, you know.
The full size P320 slide is just over. It's like 7.25 inches long.
yeah, but generally when you're looking at
Front to
this
back.
slide, yeah, you want to look at barrel length.
The longest part of the slide to the muzzle. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're talking size of the pistol, you're talking barrel length. So you know that's so like a 6-inch barrel would have like maybe an 8-inch slide, you know.
I'll tell you, I've been very happy with my SIGs. It's good, basic, simple little gun.
And the thing that's nice about that one compared to the things you put the Glock in, it's actually using their what do they call it? The interchangeability of the fire control group of the 320.
Modularity.
Yeah, the modularity of it.
The barrel's just over 4.5 inches.
Yeah, see that's if they had a long slide, long barrel version of that to put that on that, then you would have a winner there, because I don't know, that the frame just sticks out a little bit too far past the slide for my liking. Especially if you're using like some cheap ammo and you get a big fireball, is that going to damage the frame? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on talking about this, but getting back to our original topic, I think you both pretty much have a good idea of what I was thinking constitutes. Mainly, it's going to the different sizes. Mainly, it's going to be your barrel length, I think. But yeah, definitely you're gonna, depending on if you're planning on concealed carrying, you definitely want to pay attention to the height as well, especially with the grip, because when you're printing, that's why people have been asking for the Glock 17 slide on a 19 frame, because that's where your printing is mostly going to be. It's going to be on your grip and height. Whereas your barrel is pretty much going to be concealed in your pants, you know, especially if you're inside the waistband carrying. That's where your barrel length doesn't matter as much as what height would, as far as a concealed carry pistol is concerned. But here's the thing that when I was looking at this comparison chart thing here, let me get this up here and get back over here. Okay, which one of these is screen share? That one. Okay, come on. There we go. All right. Share this page. Okay, you guys seeing this page here? What I'm showing?
I see it on our chat, but I don't see it on YouTube.
YouTube's not seeing this?
No delay.
Oh, is it delayed that much?
Yeah, 15 seconds.
Okay. Like, anyway, you can go down. Like you said you got the Bobcat.
Cheetah 84F.
Okay. The Cheetah they have is an 85 FS. So you could you can go there, and then you can go, and you want to say get a size comparison against that versus the 92, for example. So we'll do that. The 92 compact. Okay. Are you seeing that how this works? And you can see you can see every one of the dimensions down here: barrel length, weight, width, height, and then overall length. So you can see that, this would be what you would consider a subcompact, right? It's got a actually this might just fall into a compact category because it's a 3.8 inch barrel. but you can see how much lighter it is than the 92FS.
Well, compact.
Yeah,
That's what
92FS
compact.
compact.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 10 ounces lighter, but width is about the same. Height, it's a little bit shorter. And it's definitely not as long as the 92FS compact. But here's where it gets interesting with Beretta, right? Look at the barrel length on what they consider a compact. On every other manufacturer, that would be considered to be a full size.
Yep.
It has a 4.25-inch barrel. Every other manufacturer compact starts at 4 inches and lower. Like
Yeah,
they're all,
that's at least in the medium, commander size range.
yeah, that is a full, for a semi-auto other than the 1911. That is considered to be a full-size handgun. So Beretta's got a weird way of naming their categorizing theirs. Excuse me.
Well, that 92 compact, those are still a fairly large gun.
Yeah.
That's pushing it to even call it a compact, but I guess it kind of fits compared to their other guns. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of pistol right there on those compacts. They're not exactly small.
No, it's 5.25 inches tall, almost 8 inches long. 1.5 inches wide, but there's subcompacts that fall into that. The Glock 26 is 1.5 inches, if I remember right. So I mean, it's 1.5 inches wide is not that big of a deal, but the weight, I mean, that's an all metal gun, so you're going to have weight to it, 31.6 ounces. You're getting into Smith & Wesson revolver weights. I'm talking the steel ones.
Can you put the link to this website in the chat? Seven Wonders was wondering what website you're looking at.
Just the website itself? Yeah, I can do that. Hold on a minute. And they have all kinds of different handguns that you can compare. But there is the link to the website. So anybody wants to go over there, you want to compare different handgun sizes, so you can see which one might better fit you as far as size and everything. But there you go. But yeah, and they have some of them. If you look here, they have some what people have been searching as popular searches lately. Like you have the SIG P365 versus the PIG 320 subcompact. The very first one that's right up here is both P365s compared to each other, right? And you have the Glock 43 compared to the 365, the 26 compared to the 365, and these are ones that people have been searching. Mostly it's SIG 365 versus others will fall into the subcompact category. The one difference being people have also apparently have been searching the P10C versus the P10S a lot. It is an interesting one to be searching for sure. Just out of curiosity, let's pull this one up so you get an idea. Like the P10C, it's 7.3 inches. The P10S is 6.6 inches. So you can see it gives you all your differences. And you can also see that the P10C is actually a compact and not a full size because it's got a 4.02 inch barrel. So yeah, that would fall into a definite full, compact size. The P10S is interesting because it has a 3.5 inch barrel. So that's right on the border of what would constitute a compact or a subcompact. It's right there on the edge of that. I think I might give it a little bit of a nudge to the subcompact because of the height. It's 4.6 inches, which is relatively short compared to the 5.2 inches of the actual compact and the P10C over here. So that's one thing to look at. Definitely is the height when you're trying to determine. In magazine capacity, but I believe the standard capacity is 12 plus 1 on the P10S, and the 10.1. I mean, I want to say 10.1. 10 plus 1 would be like your restricted states like Maryland, Massachusetts. I'm not even going to say California because they can't even get it in California. Illinois, I think is Illinois restricted in mag capacity? I don't remember. But New York, those kind of places. That's probably where the 10+1 comes from. You see the same thing over here on the P10C. Yeah, and I'm gonna look at something here. The thing they even brought up this topic. You guys remember? Where is it? I know it's here because I was looking at it earlier. There it is. Okay, we'll take that one. This is the first G2C, and then we'll scroll down here, and we'll go against the double stack subcompact from Glock, and we'll compare their sizes. Okay. Now you can see they're fairly even in size, right? If anything, the Glock 26 generally, except for in height, is actually bigger than the G2C. The reason for the G2C being taller, obviously, is the fact that it holds 2 more rounds, which you can see right here, 12+1 compared to 10+1. So they got to put those 2 rounds somewhere, right? So you get a little bit longer. And the fact that the Glock has a flex fit magazine, whereas the G2C, they have that little pinky extension on there, which is going to increase the height a little bit as well.
I kind of like the looks of that Taurus over the Glock there. I like the little bit longer grip.
Yeah, I have one. I'm carrying it right now, in fact.
That's the one thing about compacts or smaller gun. If there's nothing on that magazine for my pinky, the guns just automatically feel too small.
Yeah, that's why with my shield, I don't even carry the flush fit mag. I just carry the extended mags with it.
Not that it's just a preference. If that's the only tool I had to use, I wouldn't make an excuse I didn't like my pinky on it. I'd be able to use it. But just out of preference, I prefer to I like to grab all my guns or whatever I do. If I change a lot of stuff, I'm just trying to find like a balance. When I grab a pistol and I go to shoot, I don't want anything to feel funny. I don't want anything to be different. You know what I mean? Like I want a good trigger. I don't want too heavy of a trigger. I don't want too light of a trigger. I want it to feel right in my hands. I don't want like a sharp edge. I just don't want anything that's a distraction or any thought. I just want to look at my sights. I don't want to always think about, because if you got a bad trigger, every time you shoot it, you're always thinking, oh man, that trigger. Same way if it's too light, if it's too touchy, that's always on your mind, a distraction. I don't want the distraction. So that's why I work and change a lot on the things I got to try to just find a neutral place, man. I don't want it to have any feel at all. That's why I kind of a little picky.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, definitely. If the grip's too small, it's not. I don't feel comfortable with it either. So
Yeah,
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't. I try to do the best I can to get to things that I don't want to pay any attention to it. I don't want to have anything that's like, I just consider it like a distraction. Or if you pick it up and you're always fumbling or trying to adjust it into your hand or whatever, I don't like that. I want to set up whatever grips I got to change, whatever's got to be done, whatever I got to do to the triggers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of why I only buy like Berettas and 1911s. I just kind of keep kind of like cooking. You get your recipe and you stick with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm getting back to this website. If you look, if you want more information on the firearms, I actually give you the links to the official URL for the company that you're looking at, or your 2 companies you're comparing. And then down below, they also give you other ones that you may want to look at, comparing different size firearms that are similar to what you were looking at.
That website doesn't have price on it though, does it?
No, it doesn't have prices, but this is just comparing sizes, which, you know, for what it is, I mean, for comparing sizes and everything, if you don't know whether what would be right for you, a Glock 26 or a G2C, for example, based just on size and what you were saying about grip length and everything, you can go to this website and they'll give you all of that information. I mean, you can clearly see here that you have more of a grip surface on the G2C than you do on the Glock 26. Because they show you the picture, they actually show you the measurements as far as the height and length are concerned. They don't show you width, but they show you the height and length. So you get a good idea of what you're looking at, before you go buy. Like I said, if you don't like this one, then you can scroll down and then you have, like, you can then decide, what about the G2C versus the P365XL? Then you can click that and then you can bring that up and you can compare these two to get against one another and figure out which one. And you see that lengthwise, the SIG is longer, but then it has a longer barrel too. It's more of a compact than it is a subcompact because it's got that 3.7-inch barrel in there. And then it's a little bit more narrower. And height-wise, they're about the same height-wise. And again, it's the 365 is longer, but like we were saying, for concealed carry, 6.6 inches compared to 6.25 inches isn't all that much when you're talking concealed carry inside the waistband and whatnot. The length isn't the main thing you want to. Isn't going. I mean, it matter. I mean, you don't want to. A 5-inch barrel handgun isn't exactly the most inside the waistband concealable handgun. I mean that in that instance you got a difference, but 3.7 and 3.25, it's not all that much different. Like Smith & Wesson Shield EZ380, or 380 EZ, I forget which one comes first. I always forget. Unless I'm holding the firearm looking at it, I always forget which way that goes. That's about a 3.8-inch barrel, and that's very concealable. So, I mean, it's barrel length, I don't think is the main consideration when you're looking at concealability. It's going to be mainly like your height and width. But 1.25 inches really isn't all that wide. And, 5 inches height, that's, a lot of, again, both of these have double stack magazines. So that hold 12 or more rounds. So you're going to have a little bit longer height on there than what you would say your Shield. Well, even then, the Shield, you got to extend with the flush fit magazine, I should say, or your Glock 26, your Glock 43s, Glock 42. So anyway, this site gives you the ability to go and compare, so that you know exactly what you're getting into as far as that's concerned, and you can judge based on your height, shape, and whatnot, based on what you have here before you actually go out and buy. So that's what when I saw this, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, not very many people are going to be carrying a 6-inch gun in their pants there, RL. And I don't mean underpants, so don't go there. We all know you. We all know where your mind's going. Am I right? Everybody else got it.
Can you really say where his mind is going? Does it ever really leave there?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, he pretty much is always living there. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, as a Maryland resident, I have to be careful about what I say about the Pennsylvanians. Like we were talking about the football rivalry. Pennsylvania and Maryland don't get along too well. I don't understand why. I mean, we're so nice to them.
Yeah, everybody's got to argue with their neighbors.
Well, we're mad at Maryland because they stole our rivalry. So that's one thing that Cleveland and Pittsburgh can get together and agree on. is that Baltimore stole our rivalry.
Yeah, I think that's the unifying force in the Mid-Atlantic region is disdain for the state of Maryland.
Or at least Baltimore.
Like Ohio and Delaware get along great because they both don't like Maryland.
Yeah. Hey, at least we found common ground between Cleveland and Pittsburgh now. It's hatred of the city of Baltimore.
And Foxborough.
Yes, Foxborough too. Let's just go with the whole greater Boston area.
Yeah, the East Coast, whatever. Throw them all in there.
I wonder how many people out there got the theme of the name of the show this week. Anyway, let's stop screen sharing.
Where are you?
They read the whole title all together, and then think classic TV.
Oh, Car 54.
I don't know why that just popped in my head as I was typing in the title.
Well, that's going way back right there.
Used to watch reruns of that on Nick at Night when Nick at Night actually showed old classic TV reruns before they went and screwed that all up by making their own shows. You know, kind of like how Cartoon Network used to be the channel where you go watch old cartoons until they decided to make their own cartoons. Kingpin testing out the screen sharing button here.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but it doesn't seem to be working. Hold on, let me see if it. All right, are you seeing unknown users Instagram page?
Nope. Just seeing your KP logo.
All right, let me do this then. All right, I turned off sharing. That's why. Okay. Share. Okay. Now can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody out in the chat, everybody knows unknown user. He's awesome, and I think he's probably got the best Instagram channel. So definitely go sub to him on Instagram or follow or whatever it's called. But one of the posts that he put out is "Happy birthday, James. James South, a World War II veteran from Texas, will soon celebrate his 100th birthday. To celebrate this major milestone, he is hoping to receive 100 birthday cards from strangers around the world." And then it gives his address right here. Go check that out. Write this guy a quick letter and send him a letter. I wrote mine, and I'm putting it in the mail tomorrow. He's a military vet. He seems like a pretty cool old dude. So let's make him have a happy 100th birthday. Send him a birthday card. His address is right here. So everybody can write that down, or you can just go to unknown users Instagram page and find it. I got a mail call video that I'm going to do tomorrow, and I'm going to have this in my video as well. So check it out. Write this guy a quick happy birthday letter and mail it out to him. Give him a good happy birthday for somebody who has done so much for us, and show some appreciation to a real cool old dude and a veteran.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I will. I'll have some stamps.
An obnoxious one, you're allowed to send postage too.
This guy looks good for 100 years old. Looks
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Absolutely. His boys back there like, I didn't get 100 birthday cards.
Yeah, he's all like, "God damn it, I ain't getting cards."
I think we can definitely do that. If it's a problem, send me an email at davebowling257, all lowercase letters, at gmail.com, and I'll buy you a book of stamps and some envelopes if it's a problem. But go ahead and write this guy. Just write on a piece of paper, "Happy birthday," and send it out to him.
If you got a little kid, have them draw a birthday card. You know?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, If I could figure out how to copy the link to this, I'd put it in there, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, you're on your phone.
No, I'm on my laptop right now.
Oh, you're on your laptop. So you're on the. Are you on the app or the actual? Yeah, you're on the app. I see now down to
Yeah.
you can't. I don't think you. You see the three dots. I think you can go there and copy.
Yep, there we go. Right there it is. All right. I'm learning internets every day here. So let me go ahead and put that down here in the chat. And you guys can go check out this link. And if you like Instagram, follow Unknown User on Instagram. He's got some really cool stuff. So check it out.
Yeah, and they're all out there talking about Car 54 now. Yeah, Fred Gwynn wasn't the only one on that show from the Munsters. Grandpa Munster was on that show as well. Hey, Night Strike.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. We were just talking about what constitutes a full-size, compact, and subcompact handgun.
Well, it's certainly not caliber.
No, it's not caliber.
Usually, you'd be judging by what length?
Length, height, basically the dimensions of the file.
I would go by length more so than anything, just because.
Yeah, that's what I said too. But then you also want to look at the height because the height's going to depend on how much you're going to print and whatnot.
Because I mean, look at it this way. I recently got a P229, but it's not any bigger than my 320 compact. So for all intents and purposes, I'd say the P229 is a compact style handgun.
Yeah, it is. The P229 is a compact.
Yeah. Whereas, like, you want the full size, you got the 226. So I'd say anything under 4 inches is a compact. Anything over 4 inches is full size.
And then these subcompacts generally like anything 3.5 or smaller.
Exactly. Just to make it easy for people to understand.
Yeah, I wish Snob was here because he doesn't.
Well, Snob intentionally argues with you to argue with you because that's just what he does.
Okay. No, you know what? I just thought of something. Snob's in the pocket of Big Beretta. Big Beretta doesn't understand either because they have the Model 92 compact, but the Model 92 compact is 4.25 inches in barrel length, which makes it a full size.
Well, the Italians do things a little different.
No, they don't.
No, Beretta just has Snob all confused. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks.
It's a pretty good story. So yeah, I was just I got a notification for Alan's chat, so I went on Just Domestic this evening. So you were chatting over there.
Yeah, I watched a little bit before I came over and got this all set up.
So. How
Any
about
big
those
news
crickets?
from that, Jack?
Big news from what?
Was there anything from that other chat that was worth talking about?
Yeah, they were mainly just talking about the NRA at that point.
No, we weren't talking. Well, I wasn't talking about the NRA. We weren't talking about the NRA.
You got there. This is when I was over there watching. They're just talking about the NRA.
Yeah, and then we went in to start talking about the crazy shit that's going on with them trying to continue to impeach Trump, even though all the transcripts for the Ukrainian thing have been basically laid out in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as soon as they tried that, Trump just declassified the whole damn thing.
Yeah, he just dropped it, and he got a statement from the Ukrainian president just to say, by the way, I told you so. You didn't want to listen to me. You want to try and impeach me for some stupid shit, but Biden and his son are up to some shady shit, and here's proof.
Uh-huh.
All week I've seen nothing but CNN or any of the big networks. They put that transcript out there, and they change every word in it.
If they
And
lie
every
about the
time
whole
you
thing.
bring up Biden, what he did, every network has gone instantly to it. There's no evidence of that. That's not what happened. Biden didn't do that, even though I've watched the tape from like two different angles of him bragging about it.
Yeah,
My
and-
favorite,
Okay.
my favorite was Adam Schiff. Did you guys see his reading and when he addressed Senate or whatever?
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, I'm going to give you 7 chances to do this before I cut your head off. And then everybody's like, dude, you lied about that. And he was like, oh, that was parody.
Yeah.
No, you don't do parody in front of Congress. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to tell you 7 times so you get it straight. You're going to do this for me. You're going to dig up dirt on them and all kinds of stuff that was never even close to being in that transcript. Not a bit of it. That's ridiculous. Out of our Congress, enough's enough, man.
Well-
I mean, this is this is like this elementary school kids, man. This isn't our elected leaders. This is gone too far, too much. It's getting ridiculous.
Something tells me they're intentionally doing this to try and tank the elections for themselves, just so they get voted in 2024.
Well, I tell you what, if you don't vote for Donald Trump, then you're going to get what you deserve. And for people, whether it's here on gun channels or it's on television or it's in the parking lot of the supermarket, and you step on your righteous soapbox and I didn't vote for Donald Trump and his tweets are stupid. Don't vote for Donald Trump in 2020, and if he loses, then you're going to get what you deserve.
Yeah, and real quick, we have been joined by Snob's wife, aka Stacy. How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm doing well. How are you? Well, not completely well. I'm still getting over being sick.
Yeah, same here.
Hey, Stacey.
I'm almost done with my antibiotics, so that's
Well, by the time I get better, it get worse again, and allergies,
And then you have to see Snob.
yeah, that doesn't make it any
No, it
better.
doesn't.
I was going to say something, and I forgot what it was now.
Ha!
Oh,
Success.
I'm telling you, I'm distracting for everybody.
No, it wasn't you. It's Kingpin. I was getting ready to say
Oh.
something, and Kingpin started, and I forgot what it was I was going to say. But I remember now. I was watching a Tim Pool video, and he was talking about the whole thing with Biden and his son and everything. And the craziness, if you look at this, Biden was appointed to handle the Ukraine thing, right, during the Obama administration. And right after Biden, and Tim Pool had documentation and, articles and stuff from the time to show this. But right after Obama was appointed to the Ukraine situation is when his son just happens to get hired as a member of the board of directors for that gas company. His son has absolutely no experience with natural gas or anything in the energy field whatsoever until that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I
Well,
was.
no.
People were looking into that. So. Go on.
I mean, it's rather shady stuff, and apparently there was also a former CIA guy under Bill Clinton who was a counterterrorism guy that's also on that board of directors.
Well, he clearly has to be an expert because how do you get a job that high of a level if you're not an expert?
Right.
Have your dad be the vice president of the United States?
Dude, you think? Come on, you think that Joe Biden would use his presidential power for bad things like that? Come on, man. That's conspiracy theory.
How does a former counterterrorism analyst for the CIA get a job at a gas company when he has no experience in that field either?
Well,
Under another Democratic administration.
how does a guy who voted for the communist presidential candidate Gus Hall get nominated head of the CIA by Barack Obama? Oh, never mind. Change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
I've also heard him mentioning that possibly there could be copies of Hillary's emails
Oh yeah, that's another
over
thing.
there
Yeah,
too.
that's another thing that Trump's done this week. He's had the Justice Department reopen the investigation into her emails, with the State Department's involved in the investigation as well.
Did you guys see the video that actor John Voight made? Man, I wish I had a link to it. He made a wonderful video the other day that really sums it up. Uh, there's everybody. Half the people hate Trump, half the people love Trump, whatever. But with everything that's been in the news and everything lately, you really are not hearing the good things that Trump has done. And when you see the things that he has done and accomplished and how it's actually affecting us and how like he's trying to be tough to our enemies, he does have our jobs going. He's got our economy going. They call him racist and everything else when he does stand up for everyone's rights. We get ticked at him for his bump stocks and his anti-gun things. But the big thing about attacking him constantly, if you're against all that, then you're against the good things that are going on in this country. You're against us having a good economy, and you're against us, being tough to our enemies. It's just all this hatred toward Trump from the Democrats. It's gotten so bad. Done with it. And sooner or later, even the craziest, whatever party you believe to, or how passionate you are to it, or who it is, once you find out and realize in your brain and your heart that you've been lied to, you're going to change and turn on that. So I think sooner or later, the Democrats are going to be facing some tough times. They think they're doing great and they got everybody backing them, but anyone, as soon as you realize you've been lied to, you're not going to support them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it may not happen between now and 2020, but sooner or later, some of these people are going to realize, and the Democrats will screw up even worse and turn on their own, and people will realize they're just a bunch of liars.
I don't know, man. This has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, but now it's got the media just so one-sided, so fake everything.
This is so much more than about Donald Trump. It's never been about Donald Trump. It's not now about Donald Trump, and it's never going to be about Donald Trump. It's about Jason Stewart. It's about Rich White. It's about every single one of us out there, whether we're into guns or not. If we care about the fabric of this country and moral decency, this is an attack on all of us. Donald Trump is going to be gone. He can't be president forever. He's in his 70s, so he's going to pass away sooner than later because nature. By law, he can only be president for 4 more years, assuming he gets reelected, which I think he clearly will. They're not going to fight and do all this and all this over one person. No, this is way bigger than Donald Trump. And that's what we need to recognize. That's why, and Ozzy mentioned it out in the chat, that's why I say it's so important that you forget about all the rest of the stuff and look at the big picture. We can't look at just tiny little details. We have to look at the big picture here and realize this is far more important than one person. We're at a turning point right now, and all this corruption has been there, but now we're finally getting to see it at the level that it really has always been, and how deep and how terribly awful evil these people will go to quiet us.
Yeah, something else that Tim Pool was talking about this week, and I think Steven Crowder mentioned it too, was a study that came out recently that showed that at this current point in their ages, Generation Z is more conservative than what people in our generation, which have been Gen X, the millennial generation, the baby boomers that were before us were at when they were at the age they are now, and that this is probably what's the Democrats are scared because they don't know what to do because they see this as a loss of their power base. So, and one of the things that they were suggesting was that could be why they're trying to get all these illegals in here, hoping to build their voter base back up and stuff. What do you guys think about that one?
I mean, you know me, I can talk all night long. I want to give everybody else a chance.
Yeah, that's why I said all of you. I mean, what are y'all thoughts on that?
What? Give everyone citizenship just so they can get their vote.
Yeah, and the fact that Gen Z at this point, Gen Z is like
I'm sure they try that.
Yeah, Gen Z is like the youngest out of like the millennials, and then you got Gen Z after them. They at this point in time, they're they're more they're more conservative as a percentage than what our generation, the millennial generation, and like the baby boomers were when they were their age. And their supposition was that this is why you have Democrats. The Democrats are scared about this, and that's one of the things that they say that they thought might be motivating the Democrats to try and push for getting the illegals and everything in here. So that's why I was asking what your thoughts on that were.
Well, yeah, even you can't trust them, even if that's not what they want. If they just say that, they're already winning over the people.
Well, no, this wasn't the Democrats that were saying it. This was Tim Pool, and I think Steven Crowder mentioned it, and somebody else mentioned it. It might have been Matt Christensen that there was this study that came out saying this about the numbers. The study didn't put about the illegal immigration. That was either Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, or Matt Christensen that put that into it. But it's a viable, it's a valid point that I thought that could be if they're scared about losing the youth that they might try getting votes from another source.
Well, that's exactly it's evident all across the past 50 years of racial politics. They go strong after the black vote, and then when they get the black vote, they keep the black communities under their thumb because you can't survive without us because the Republicans are going to kill y'all. And the only argument Maj Toure talks about it a lot, the conservatives don't have an answer for the inner city urban communities, not necessarily just the black or brown, but just the inner city urban communities. Going in and saying pull yourself up by your bootstraps makes sense because that's the answer. But you can't just go into a broken neighborhood and tell people to pull their self up by their own bootstraps. You got to tell them how to do that. And the conservatives have failed at pushing that message. But as
now, because now you got a couple of those groups going in and cleaning up, like in Los Angeles, Baltimore, and whatnot, trying to show them how they can improve their neighborhoods.
The stronger the black community gets, the less Democrat they are. The stronger the Hispanic community gets, the less Democrat they are. Plus, you got to also take into consideration the Latino community in the United States is very religious on average, and it's completely contradictory to the whole Democratic base.
Yeah, it's the same thing with most black. And when you get outside the city and you look at black families and stuff, like in the South and whatnot, and you get outside the cities, they're highly religious. They would align more with the Republican Party and conservatives, but because they're brainwashed, they keep voting Democrat and liberal.
Right. Yeah.
Because you look at them, they're generally pro-life. A lot of them are pro-gun. A lot of them are anti-illegal immigration, and they keep voting for the Democrats, who are the exact opposite.
It's crazy, man.
Prophecy coming to truth.
Plus, you can also
when he signed the Civil Rights Act.
You can also find that family values are just as strong in the Latino culture the black culture, the white culture, the Asian culture, and that's the core thing behind conservative principles is family values. And but when you tell people, these people over here have been stealing everything from you, and we stole a little bit of it back to give back to you, and if we don't do that, then you're not going to have anything. Then people are like, okay, well, I'm going to keep voting for that because I need welfare. When they don't need welfare, they just need a way off of welfare.
Yeah. No, I've been saying this for years, and I wholeheartedly believe that affirmative action is the most racist policy ever put into, other than slavery, put into effect in this country.
The soft bigotry of low expectations.
Well, I don't even call it soft bigotry. I just call it hardcore racism, flat out, because essentially affirmative action is telling these people that you are too stupid or too incapable of doing anything without us to lift you up to where you can do anything for yourself. I mean, that if that's not racist, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Well, and also talking about white privilege. When you tell people that whites have this inherent privilege over everybody, isn't that your way of saying that you're inferior to white people? And that's not the kind of message I want. I don't want somebody coming up to me and saying that, your next door neighbor, the Joneses, have privilege over you, so you're naturally inferior to them. That sounds pretty racist to me, too.
I mean, I'd like to know where this white privilege is so I can sign up for it.
Yeah, really.
Because I've been living 36 years. I've once never seen white privilege, so I'd like to know where it is so I can get get my name on the docket.
Yeah, I mean, from the time here's how much white privilege I had. From the time I was 5 years old until I was 13 or 14, we lived in the black ghetto. I mean, now, where was my white privilege back then? I'm like, I literally that's literally where I was living. I was living in the black neighborhood.
White privilege is just the lie they use to try and attack conservatives. That's it. Because I've never had white privilege. I'm pretty sure Stacy's never had white privilege. Kingpin's never had white privilege, and Jason Stewart's never had white privilege.
Yes, he has. He's got those Nighthawk pistols and stuff. He doesn't.
Hey! Just because he likes guns other than the Shockwave does not mean that he's a bad person.
Yeah,
You're just jealous because you got a Shockwave instead of those Nighthawks.
I've
you know how much
never
money I got in this
white
shop?
privilege.
Go there.
I think Jason Stewart shoots with his pinky extended.
Rich, if anyone who
While I'm
should
sipping
have
my
white privilege,
champagne, my little range.
You
I
know-
take a range bottle with me.
Rich, I hate to say this, but if anyone, it's you who should have white privilege because your name is Rich and your last name is White. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah,
Only
I've
a
never
man,
seen white privilege, but I've seen rich and poor privilege. So you got
Yeah.
like 2 doses of it.
Yeah,
Most privileged man on gun channels.
there
No,
you go.
1% in name only, and that's Ghost's fault.
oh, it's hilarious when he said that. Well, you know how Ghost is, selfless, self-promoter. Or shameless self-promoter, that's what it is.
Yes,
Shameless.
the and the 2-bit content creator. Shameless, self-promoting 2-bit content creator.
Yeah, 2-bit. At least I'm an 8-bit content creator. I gotta have 8 bits, otherwise, I can't function properly.
So you got to have an Nintendo Entertainment System and not an Atari 2600 is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm more of a Nintendo guy than I am an Atari guy, even though I've got both systems.
Man, I would sit for hours and play Atlantis on the 2600. So I flipped the score on that thing multiple times.
So
We were too poor to have the Atari. I had the Magnum.
I got mine
Bomb
at a garage sale.
We had the Coleco. Remember ColecoVision?
ColecoVision
yeah.
costs more.
With the three, you had 3 knobs
Yeah.
on each side.
Yeah, that thing costs
Play.
more than the 2600 did.
Remember, I'm a child of the '80s, so I remember stuff, towards the mid to the later '80s more so than the early '80s because there were a few years I wasn't around for. But the thing is, in the mid '90s there were garage sales. Okay, before the internet, there were garage sales, and I would go to these garage sales with my dad because my dad liked going and seeing if he could pick up some a set of golf clubs or something cheap that he can hold on to and actually use, sporting equipment, that kind of thing. And I found an Intellivision, I found an Atari 2600. At one point it died on me not long after, but I even had a TurboGrafx 16 at one point. And Rich knows what I'm talking about on that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was born
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we weren't allowed to even hook ours up because parents were afraid it would damage their 13-inch black and white TV.
Yeah.
They were always afraid it would break the TV if you played on it too much. Because they used to, if you left it turned on, they'd burn your screen. Remember?
Yeah, the CRTs would burn.
My mom's parents and my dad's parents were always they always wanted the latest and greatest technology. And the thing is, when the microwave first became a thing, my mom's dad, he had to have one because he saw someone use it, and he was just like, "We need one of those in our house right now." And he went out and bought one as soon as they became available. And
you realize microwaves were first come out in the 60s, right?
Yeah, I know, but again, because of that kind of mindset, when something new and cool like that it actually does help more than it hinders comes out, instead of saying, "Oh, we don't need that," the mindset was like, "Let's get one." Okay, and here's the thing: when my grandparents and on both sides, when they heard about TV was switching over to color, they're like, "We're getting color TVs." Not because they needed color TVs, but because they wanted a color TV. Because they had been living with black and white since, forever. So they got color TVs.
Yeah, could you imagine a kid who was born like 2000 or later? They get in a time machine, they go back to the early 60s, and there's no color TV.
Or like I said, remember back in the day, a big widescreen TV in your living room was a 19-inch.
Yeah.
Well, they had. You don't remember the.
Well, I mean, for most of it, the big TV was a 19. If you had a separate TV or separate room or TV, you were looking at like a 12, 13-inch TV, but you didn't know it was small. To you, it was normal.
No, honestly, you don't remember the big projection screen TVs that they had when we were kids? They were like 50 inches, but the screen quality wasn't all that good, and they had like this little chair you had to sit in to adjust the color and everything on them. You don't remember that?
I remember those.
Yeah, but I was a middle-aged grown-up when those came out. I wasn't a kid.
Well, that's your
Those
fault.
were out in the early 80s, man.
Well, he had other responsibilities in the early '80s, so we can't go after him for that.
Yeah, but then you had the big console TVs back in the 80s.
Yeah.
You would have. They had what, 32-inch console TVs back then?
And remember, those big projector TVs, you still had them around in the '90s. They made them even bigger. Yeah. So, it's not that they weren't around. Granted, the whole plasma TV thing didn't really take off until people realized that you could hook them up to computers and use them as monitors. That's when they really took off.
Yeah, the thing with plasma is you still needed a screensaver because the plasma could still suffer from burn-in. They actually proved that on the screensavers one day.
Oh, yeah, I saw that episode.
TV logo on there, on their big plasma screen TV, and they turned the TV off, and the logo was still there.
No, the screensavers was when it was. You're right. It was Tech TV, and then it was G4.
Yeah.
I will say that's one thing we have now is cheap TVs.
Yeah.
You can go get a huge high-tech, high-definition TV for nothing. I mean, over the years, price of cars go up, price of everything goes up, but TVs,
Yeah.
I mean,
The other day we were in Walmart and my kids all work at the Walmart, but they had the
I'm
floor
sorry.
models, right? Because they had just swapped out the floor models, so they had all the old ones on sale. They had a 55-inch floor model TV. It was a Samsung with all the bells and whistles, $250.
yeah, that's amazing. And even a TV now is a lot better than even one 5 years ago. Too bad there's nothing to watch on TV.
Yeah, like right now I have MeTV on with the TV muted, and it's one of the 80s Columbo movies. Most of the time, that's what I have on TVs, like MeTV or something like that, where they show the old TV shows. Because most of the new shit sucks anymore.
I do have a few shows I like to watch that come on in the fall and winter.
I really haven't watched. To be honest, I really haven't watched any of the new TV shows since we moved. Like,
I don't watch TV anymore, other than just like Netflix and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I watch Netflix a lot, but
Yeah,
I do watch Rescue 911 that's on Monday nights.
I used to watch like the Arrowverse shows. I would watch those, and
I like medical
Krypton.
shows.
I watched the first season of Krypton. I would watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but since we moved, I haven't watched any of it.
I just recently started watching. Well, not recently. I've been binge watching on Netflix on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really fills in a lot of what happened, the backstory that goes on behind the scenes from the movies. But yet now they have forgotten it.
hashtag Coulson lives.
Yeah, and the worst part is, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the guy that's now running the MCU has said that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't part of it anymore.
So
Really?
I haven't even watched a lot of the Avenger movies.
Yeah. Well, the guys running the MCU have really pissed me off lately with the whole Sony thing. They pissed everyone off by backing out of the Sony deal. And just now, the other day, I heard that they reconnected the deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, apparently they just decided, no, we're going to keep Spider-Man in it after all.
They reconnected the deal because apparently they got so much backlash from everybody else saying, what the hell's wrong with you people?
Yeah, it would be nice if they keep it together and we actually get a real Venom movie. And then they can throw in Carnage too, and we can have like Total Carnage or something as a movie. Other than that, I'm really not even interested in what's going forward with the MCU.
No.
There's going to be a bunch of social justice movies going forward.
With how they did it, do you think Carnage will be from another that same planet, or do you think Carnage will be, just an offshoot of Venom again, like they did in the comics?
Well, Carnage was always an offshoot of Venom. Carnage was Venom's child, because that's the way the symbiotes reproduced, if you remember.
Right.
And each one, they would get something about they got more evil and stuff. What kept Venom from being completely totally evil was the morality of Peter Parker from when they were joined together.
Yeah, but when Eddie Brock was less moral than Peter Parker.
Yeah, but it was the residuals from when he was with Peter that kept him from going completely over the edge.
But that's not to say that Eddie Brock was an awful human being. He may have been an asshole most of his life, and asshole. Yeah, there you go. But he wasn't a monster, and some of the comics have portrayed him as a monster when really he was just, unfortunately, an asshole that didn't realize that he needed to straighten up his life and change how he was because he was being a complete douchebag.
Mm. Oh yeah.
I mean, and no matter what era where they portrayed Eddie Brock, the character type stayed the same.
Yeah, well, look at the Ultimate Universe when instead of Eddie Brock becoming Venom, it was Flash Thompson. Why isn't the assholes who were mean to Peter are the ones who become Venom? But at least Flash Thompson, he became Agent Venom, and he was like more of a good guy. It was his outfit was kind of cool. It was kind of like a Venom combined with Iron Man kind of thing. If you remember that.
Yeah, but why is Flash Thompson so familiar though?
Flash Thompson was Peter's bully in high school.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So
Have you seen that new Spider-Ham cartoon?
it's
One that
not
was
new.
included- No, it was included with the Spider-Man movie, and they just released it as a solo thing recently.
It's not new. It used to be a set of comics back in the day.
Yeah, I know. I used to read the comics back in the 80s. This cartoon is Bugs Bunny wearing a Spider-Man costume. It is not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I watched that. I'm like, this is not Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham, while it was a parody of Spider-Man, was not over-the-top slapstick comedy. You know?
Well, it was a little bit.
No, it wasn't. I mean, if you read especially the earlier issues of it, it was not the over-the-top slapstick. It was more of a satire.
Yeah.
The other ones that were packaged with Spider-Ham, like you would have the Iron Man, which was what, Iron Mouse. That was more of your slapstick comedy kind of thing, which that one was funny as hell too. Whenever they had the Spider Mouse ones with Spider-Ham, that was actually my favorite one. Because if for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, there was Marvel had a sub brand called Star Comics. They did the droids, which was R2D2 and C3PO. They did Ewok comic, and then they had Spider-Ham, which was a parody of the actual Marvel title.
Spider-Man.
You would have the main one. You would have one main Spider-Ham story of Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham. Okay, and you would have that. You would have one story that was him. That would be the first story in the book. And then you would have a second story in the book, which was a parody of somebody else. Like you would have Iron Mouse, for example. I think that was the first issue. Was you had Spider-Ham, and then you had Iron Mouse, which was a parody of Iron Man. And they were funny, but they weren't super slapsticky. You go and watch the Spider-Ham cartoon that came on the Blu-ray, DVD, whatever you want to call it, with the latest Spider-Man movie. You can go on YouTube and watch it now because it's that Marvel actually released it as a standalone separate thing by itself. And that is not what Spider-Ham was in the comics. Not in the least. It's literally Bugs Bunny. This is literally Bugs Bunny in the cartoon. It's wearing a Spider-Man costume. I didn't care for it, the cartoon. The episode of Ultimate Spider-Man that was on the Disney Channel and Disney XD, the one where Loki turns him into a pig. He actually looked like Spider-Ham in that episode, and that episode was more like a Spider-Ham comic than like the actual Spider-Ham cartoon is.
I was always more of a fan of the 90s Amazing Spider-Man instead. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the 90s cartoon?
Yeah, the one with Mark Hamill as Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
The Hobgoblin that was more that it was like the Hobgoblin, only the Joker Hobgoblin kind of thing. Yeah. He did the same voice with Hobgoblin as he did with Joker on Batman the Animated Series. Hey, it's the Joker Goblin. That was the joke with me and my friends. It's the Joker Goblin.
It was still amusing though.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's going on with this some Marvel stuff. I mean, it's flip flopping too much. And they need to figure out what they want to do and stick with it instead of screw around.
Yeah. Do you see the people are throwing a fit because they're going to, in one of the movies, Tony Stark is going to come back and be Iron Man, but it's like a prequel thing, and people are throwing a fit. Oh, it's too soon to have him back. He just died. Like, it's a prequel. It's not like they're resurrecting the guy.
No, I think what people are pissed off at is they're pissed off that someone leaked that and they didn't keep that a secret.
No, there are literally people that are throwing a fit that it's too soon to bring back Tony Stark. They're not bringing back Tony Stark. It's a prequel. It's not like they're saying, no, forget that he died in this movie. This is a movie that comes after it, that takes place after it, and he's alive anyway. That's not what they're doing. And then there are literally people throwing a fit about that.
Well, technically, if they wanted to bring him back, just get the time stone. Fix
It isn't like people in the comics haven't died and come back like 3 issues later.
You know, like say,
Aunt May.
Yeah, Aunt May. There's also what was it? Even though they say it's not part of the MCU, I don't. Fuck them. It's still part of the MCU. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They brought Coulson back. So.
Yeah. Robo Coulson.
How was Tahiti? Tahiti sucked.
It's a magical place.
No, it sucked.
Tahiti, it's a magical place.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I hear somebody say Tahiti, that's the first thing I think. Because we had like how many seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It was 1 or 2 seasons where it was a magical place, and then they try to use that same machine on him that they used in Finding Tahiti, and after that he's like, for the rest of the time he's like, hey, I heard you went to Tahiti. How was that? And he's like, it sucked.
Yeah, but like the first 2 or 3 seasons, every time somebody said Tahiti, Coulson's response was, "It's a magical place."
It's a magical place.
That was like the running gag throughout the series, and it's just like, so whenever I hear somebody say Tahiti, that's like the first thing that pops in my head. It's a magical place.
I'm sorry for nerding up your chat.
Do you think that was intentional? That subliminal product placement? Go to Tahiti; it's a magical place.
Yeah, and then Tahiti's like, nah, we don't want any more publicity. Don't go to Tahiti; it's an awful place. There you go.
They stopped paying them.
That's probably what it was. Tahiti sucked.
Tahiti's tourist board stopped playing them, so now Tahiti sucks. Well, that's the guy there at least once every episode for like the first 2, maybe 3 seasons that was in there. Okay, who's building the Terminator?
I am printing labels to send patches out right now. Because I got to get that done.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You certainly do.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm doing that right now. The shirts I got to do tomorrow. The packs I have to do.
Yeah, I ain't worried about that.
Oh, I've got all the patches. It's just I got to send them out, and I'm trying to send them out as cheaply as I can so I can get them out to everyone. It's a pain in the ass, I tell you.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the patches. I'm not getting the shirt or anything. I'm just worried about the patches.
For me, it's been like a logistics nightmare shipping all this stuff.
I bet.
So
yeah, I can see that.
So,
are you going to go to DC Night Strike?
No, I'm not going to DC. I want to go to DC, and if I can get a ride up there, sure, I'll go. But I'm not going to fly up there because I just the budget's not there.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
The budget's not there to go because remember I live in South Carolina, so.
Why couldn't they do this on the 3rd of November? The 3rd of November wouldn't be an issue because my wife's off every Sunday. It's the only day of the week that the clinic she works at the hospital was closed. But no, they had to do it on the 2nd. when she has to work.
And in case you're wondering, Rich, I have a thermal label printer, so I don't have to pay for any ink. All I have to do, it just burns it onto the piece of paper.
Honestly, God, it sounds like somebody's like got a Terminator model or something in your living room.
It's just because it's right next to my headphone, my microphone. I can't move the microphone because there's nowhere else for it to go. So
when I heard it, that's the first thing that popped in my head was like, you got a Terminator in your house.
nah, I'm
Do that
fine.
now, no straight.
Well, you know, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance. And people say that's an awful movie. It's not. I liked it more than I liked Terminator 3. So that's not saying much. Oh.
Now Seven asks us about it. Who here is trying to go to the Pro 2A rally in DC on November 2nd?
We were just talking about it.
Yes.
We were just talking about it, Seven.
Yeah.
You know. Maybe
Kingpin, I
Mike
believe,
God's
is going.
job, his daughter's going.
Jason's going.
If I could get a ride up there, I'd go. But right now I just I'd have to sleep in someone's car or something.
Yeah, that's the situation I'm in. I have no way of getting there right now. Because again, my wife has to work on the 2nd. If they'd have did it the 3rd instead of the 2nd.
Can't you still drive?
No, I'm not allowed to drive. And she'll have the car because she works that day.
And see, this is why we're failing as far as activism. If we could figure out how to get, like in every state, get somebody to rent a bus and drive to the Capitol for these rallies, we would never lose. But because we don't have the funding for that kind of thing, that's why we fall short. Because we can't get enough people to go and turn up. There are people that would turn up, they just don't have the money. But whereas everybody else is funded by, everyone who's anti-gun or their son.
Yeah. Mainly George Soros.
Yeah, we need a pro-gun billionaire out there.
We need our own version of George Soros who wasn't a Nazi collaborator.
Well, if I ever hit the super lotto for like 300 million, yeah,
300
I'll
million.
spend most of it in the fight.
Did you see the last Powerball? That thing was over $1 billion.
Billion, yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah, Dr. Evil will have it all set then. All you gotta do is enter the damn lottery at this point.
That's right, isn't it?
I never understood why they do that. I know everybody wants to hit the lotto, but even when they have like a 200 and 300 million lotto, why don't you just give 200 or 300 people $1 million each?
Because that way, then no money would go towards education or whatever.
You know what's really sad? Tiger Woods is a billionaire from playing golf and the endorsements he's gotten. He's a billionaire from hitting a little ball. The same thing that people go out to the golf course and do on the weekends and don't make a damn bit of money for. Tiger Woods is a billionaire from doing that same exact thing.
Yeah, but he's better than everybody else on the planet at it, though.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but he's also not making $5 million on it anymore.
Oh, yes, he is. He makes a shit ton of money.
I bet you those guys are.
It's crazy the amount of money that guy's made being a golfer. Bloke says he's a billionaire. Okay, Bloke, then you can pay for everybody to go to the DC rally. That's it. Bloke's on the hook for it. He says he's a billionaire.
Rich, I'm not seeing your name on the patch list. Did you get a pack?
I got Patreon one, the $15 Patreon patch pack.
Oh, you got the pack. You got the pack. That's different. I got to send those out.
The patch. I got the patch. The $15 one that you did for Patreon.
Did I do it? I must have.
Yeah. Man, you don't even remember what all you did.
I don't. That scares me. All right, so I gotta print 2 more out. So all right.
Yeah.
Luckily, I bought enough stationery yesterday. So there's 2 left there. There we go.
Yeah, Bloke's got a link. Is he writing another paper? Is that his excuse again this week? I mean,
Yeah.
this guy's always writing papers. He should be working for like the Washington Post or something at this point.
I know. He should
be a writer, not a recreational therapist. Come on. Much as he's writing, should at least be getting paid for it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Stacy, I don't know. Does he spend that much on like little video cameras and stuff?
He was for a while. Between that and the drone and the GoPro, and last week it was the CHP gun and some scope thing for the slide or something. I don't know. He spent like quite a bit last week.
After you went to bed the other night, he's insisting that when you go to Tulsa next time for the Wanamaker show, he's going to be getting a 1006. Just let you know. He insists that he's getting that.
Well, he better be working on getting my Bel Air soon.
Oh, that's what we told him. He's like, nah. So I don't know.
Apparently now there's a hashtag Kimber for Karen.
Oh.
So,
see, this is what happens when he doesn't show up for my show and he has a link. I'm going to tattle him on it from now on.
well, Sarge sent him one for, I think, brand new on, I don't know on what it was on, but it was for the 380, which the 380 is fine. I didn't care whether it was 380 or 9. I was going to get the 9, but it was only brand new. I think in the box was like $440 or something.
That's not too bad.
No, because even when I seen the 380 at Gander Mountain when it was here, it was still 700 and something. So the guy had like, I don't know, 70 something of them. So I said, for that price, the 380 would be okay. I said, but I'm still going to get the 9 later.
Yeah, Book saying he's got to go because it's his anniversary tomorrow. That's tomorrow, man. That's not now. Sheesh. I tell you, some people.
I know. Snob wasn't even here on ours. He didn't even make it in before midnight. That's when he was in St. Louis.
That thing KD did.
Yeah. He didn't make it in before midnight, so he didn't make it in for it at all. It was that Sunday, and he got in like, I don't know, 12:15 or so. But
so what are we going to talk about now? I have no idea. Have you guys got anything you want to talk about? Anybody out there got any questions? People even have watching still. Oh, we still got 12 people. Okay.
I guess we're all just hanging out.
Well, I'm actually gonna get off of here. I gotta get a few things done and then go to bed. And
You got
my
work in the
alarm starts
morning.
going off at 4:45.
Yeah, you got work in the morning.
Yeah, which kind of sucks when you don't feel good and you wake up. First wake up, you feel like crap, and then it gets better throughout the day. So, but yeah, I should be getting. It should be ending soon. I thought I actually would have been laid off by now, but
Yeah, weren't you saying you only had like a month left a few weeks ago?
well, the apartments were supposed to be done. Like the tentative date was the 26th, which was last Thursday, and we still have 6 that still have to be. Well, 4 of them they made handicaps. They still have to be. They got sheetrock, but they still have to come in and do the tile showers, and they still got to be painted and flooring. It's still got quite a while. And we have 3 that have painting and carpet that we're still waiting on a few cabinets to come in and stuff. So I imagine within the next week or 2, I'll be done with my job.
So everything is delayed because all the supplies haven't come in yet, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and the person running it is an idiot.
Isn't that the way it usually works?
Yeah, well, we got him and his other brother, and that's kind of helping run it, and 2 others that are working with there. And like the one that's working with me, he's like 67. So I pretty much do about 99% of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but half the time, out trawling for girls and talking to people and, looking for people to talk to, usually girls that are like, 3/4 his age.
So he thinks he's Benny Hill, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every female in that apartment complex, they all want him. We were talking to this one lady. She was the kind of like the caregiver or one of the other ones that helps her with her bills and housework and stuff. And we were just out there having a normal conversation with her. Nothing intimate, nothing, just she was talking to both of us. She walks away. He looks at me and says, "She wants me." I'm thinking, what part of that conversation gave you that idea?
The fact that she just was talking to him.
It's funny.
I've known other guys who are like that. I mean, if somebody just talks to them, they think that she wants them. So, I mean, it's not uncommon, honestly. I'm just surprised he actually had the guts to tell you that. Usually guys that are like that don't want to tell, and don't want to tell a woman that, but they'll say it to like a guy that's there. So,
well, here's how my father-in-law, my father-in-law's married. Yeah, but he sits there and checks out girls all the time too. I mean, he's Snob's dad, so he's always checking out somebody. And he can't even call dibs on anybody checking someone out because Bill's already called dibs on everybody in the complex. But it's pretty hilarious, because I work with my father-in-law, and he's about him and another guy are about the best workers besides me. It's basically the 3 of us. So, and if you ever meet Snob's dad, they are not too far apart personality-wise, except his dad's a lot better than he is. I love his dad.
Quick question for you, Go. Has there been any progress on getting Gary hooked up with your mother?
Never gonna happen. My mother has no interest in anybody. And now that she quit driving, she has no interest in leaving the house. Like, besides going to 10, 15 minutes to the grocery store, she's content. We can't even get her out of the house to go to the movies half the time. So no real attempts on getting her and Gary together. Snob walked in about that time.
I wouldn't do that to Gary. He's my friend.
Why are you so bad about my mother?
I met her.
I guess you met her.
Yeah.
My mom's one of those ones. She's really set in her ways. Okay, she watches. Have you ever heard of that show, Amazing Race?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, every year I would have to print up everybody who was going to be in the race for that season. And so their bios and all that, I would have to print that all up. And then she keeps track of who came, what place they came in on that episode. She keeps, just track of that show. It's hilarious. And it used to be you could not call her during the show. Didn't matter if she had DVR.
She keeps it.
You could not call that woman during that show. I would do it all the time just to tease her.
So she's got a spreadsheet of all the contestants, is what you're saying?
Yes. And she keeps track of, like, if they came in 15th or 14th or if they came in first, what prizes they got.
Wow. Yeah. I'd say she's a little bit obsessed with the show.
She's been that way my whole life, because before, when they had VHS, she would record movies. And, half the time back then she was recording from VCR to VCR.
Mm.
But she had these VHS movies and she had a complete binder. And each of the DVDs were numbered, and she had over 500 of these VHSs. Yeah. And you can go through the list and pick out which ones you want, what movies you wanted or what TV shows you wanted. She had them all taped. A bunch of our family in California would come over and borrow movies, and she'd keep track of who had what movie. And she had over 1,000 books. And she kept track of what book she needed, what book she had. She had a binder for that. And when she got ready, she sold all the books, and then it went to DVDs. Yeah. She knows every DVD she has.
Yep. My mother-in-law is the same way with that. She's got every single one of her movies cataloged. It's like going into a library, You look through the card catalog to find a book in a library. Well, with her, you look through her catalog of binders to find the movie you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. So, and she still goes on Amazon and buys DVDs and buys books. She's even got, I think, my nephew's old Kindle Fire. And we try to get her updated on that, and using the Kindle Fire, that hasn't worked. She still has a flip phone. She cannot figure out a smartphone.
Yeah. My mother, we got her one of those smart TVs that has the browser built into it, so she does all that on TV.
What's bad, even on the flip phone, which it hadn't happened in a while, but somehow or another, she would end up hitting it on and putting it on silent. And so she wouldn't know how to get it off silent. Or someone would put it on speakerphone, and when next time it would come back on speakerphone, and she couldn't figure out how to switch it around. So, yeah. She's not very...
tech savvy?
Yes. So... she had, anytime we had to move her, she has these old bookshelves, and some of them are, almost falling apart. You had to be careful on moving them. She'd be like, "Oh, don't be careful when you move them. Don't break them. Don't break them." And of course, I think a few of them broke, but
Uh-oh.
she has her habits.
Yeah, that goes with the territory, I guess.
And Snob likes to give her so much crap. That and my sister.
Mia says, "Bless her heart, we will all be old someday."
Yeah. Oh, my daughter goes over there on the weekend and torments her. And it's funny.
Apparently, Seven Wonders thinks he's being bombarded by airplane pilots. I don't know what to say about that one. I guess he's outside and something wet's falling from the sky and it's not raining.
Rich,
Yo,
the address you have on Indiegogo, that's your current address, right?
is it the Bayberry Drive address?
Yes.
Yeah, that's current.
Okay. Because I don't want to send stuff to your old house.
Probably internal. Go ahead, Stacy.
I was going to say I was going to head off of here, so I'll get a few things done before I go to bed.
Okay, we'll let you go then. You have a good night. Thanks
for having me.
See you later. Yeah, Pancake sent out his link.
Did he?
Yeah, he sent me an email how to use, of how to use GunTube Chamber, saying it's acting like I don't have streaming software. What's up? Everything is working as far as I know. I just think he just wants to use StreamYard.
We're using it right now. It's super easy to do.
I've got 4 streaming servers up, so there should be no reason why it shouldn't be working.
Yeah, like I said, we're using it
right now. I can tell you that.
If he doesn't think it's working, we're using it right now. This is what we're on. Notice the little logo up there in the top left-hand corner, everybody. Right here. That's where it is. Right there in the top left-hand corner. We are using that software right now. And he can't get it to work? Mia, go smack Travis upside the head, please. You know how people give them hugs for people and stuff? And instead, I need you to go give Midnight a smack upside the head for me, please, if you would. Thank you. Yeah, you're the first one to show up obnoxious as we're getting ready to shut this down. I guess in that you can be first. But yeah, yep, he did. He's doing it on stream. He's doing it on the Ducky still. So you. Now the real question here is Mia actually ain't go smack him upside the head. She said he just needs to walk through it. It's real simple. There's a how-to right there on GunTube on how to do it. It's real easy. It's no, you don't have to have OBS or anything. Midnight. We're using it right now. You don't have to have OBS. You just go start up your GunTube with whatever you want the name that's going to be in the link to be. Then you go over to YouTube, click the little camera at the top, click Go Live, get your stream key, go back over to GunTube. You don't have to download anything. So I'm saying you don't have to download anything. You just go over and do it. I mean, it only takes like 2 minutes to get it set up. If that, it's not hard. Just go to the GunTube, go to gunchamber.guntube.org, right? It'll ask you if you want to start a new show. Don't pick one of the ones that's already listed. Pick, do a new one, then put in the closer, I guess, and then you'll see the GunTube chamber screen pop up. No, okay, let me tell you how to do this, and you'll be able to set it up like that. Trust me. Okay. Then once you get that done over on the on chamber.guntube.org, go over to YouTube. Click the little camera that's up there in the top right corner. That'll bring up the streaming page. Copy your stream key. Then go back over to guntube.org or the chamber, whatever. Click the three little dots in the bottom. You'll see start live stream. Click that, and it'll ask you for your stream key. Paste your stream key in there. Click OK. It'll tell you that it's gone live. It hasn't actually gone live. It says the chamber is now broadcasting to YouTube. Go back over to YouTube when you're ready, and you'll see the go live button up in the top right hand corner. Just click on that, and you're good to go. You're live on YouTube at that point. It's real simple to do. Anyway, yeah, let's start wrapping this up. Kingpin, you got anything you want to plug real quick?
Oh yeah, check out Blokes giveaway that's still going on. You got a couple days left on that. And go over and check out Unknown User's Instagram page. I put the link out there a few times, and write that World War II veteran a 100-year-old birthday card.
Yeah, Blokes giveaway ends what, the 2nd, which is Wednesday?
Yeah, he's gonna let everybody know that I won the suppressor on the 2nd.
Alrighty. Jason, anything you want to plug?
No, just like Kingpin said, continue to give a shout out there for Blokes, the little girl Angela, and sending that 100-year-old veteran a birthday card. That's a pretty cool idea. Should be pretty easy just to say happy birthday and send it off.
Okay.
Other than that, just I'll plug be good to other people. Be a good person.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dude! I'm sorry, when you said that, that's what it reminded me of.
Excellent.
And I asked if anybody had anything they wanted to plug. Seven Wonders comment out there was Yvonne DiCarlo 50 years ago. Wrong kind of plug. Seven, wrong kind of plug. Hey, Budget showed up out there. How are you tonight, sir? And he says that you can't win Kingpin because he already did. All right. Nice, Drake. You got anything you want to plug? And Yvonne DiCarlo 50 years ago isn't the kind of plug. Night Strike.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I have one final plug. Go to guntube.org. Look at that video that's plastered at the top. It's the biggest video on the front page of guntube.org. And watch the damn video, front to back. Just saying.
It's not hard. It really isn't. I just explained exactly how to do it.
I mean, if I have to give him numbered instructions, then what was the point of me making that video? I thought visuals would be better for people.
I find it incredibly easy.
I did too, but just what the hell? What the hell, man?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's just your piss poor internet there, Obnoxious.
It works. It works. Rich doesn't have the greatest of internet either,
Yes,
and it
I
worked
do.
for Rich.
Yes, I do.
Since when?
Since we moved. We're on Xfinity, man.
Oh shit! You have the worst internet in the world now. Awesome.
Wow, better than what we had.
Yeah.
You know, a 1 gigabit download doesn't take 5 years. Takes a couple of minutes now. You know.
Yay! Couple minutes. Woo!
Hey, better than a couple of weeks.
This is true. This is true.
Our old internet was actually worse than Obnoxious's.
Now, was it worse than Yankees?
No, Yankee doesn't break up as much as what I used to, if you remember.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Yankee does. So, you're right. Got me there.
So, on that note, everybody,
That note, shout out.
yes, go check out Bloke's video, like everybody said. Get your last minute entries in. Help that person. Help out that little girl, Angelina, and her family. They need it. You'll get a good prize if you win. A couple prizes actually, because you got the compressor, the tax stamp, and a bullet. Well, not I don't want to say bulletproof because it's not bulletproof. It's a Class 3 vest, which is essentially knife proof, but you know it's made for to stop small caliber bullets.
It might have been bulletproof 40 years ago.
Well, no, because it's not rifle proof.
And you only have until the 2nd to do this.
Yes, you have till Wednesday to get your entries in. The
I really hope
GoFundMe,
I'm
the GoFundMe is going to go longer than that, but Bloke is cutting off the giveaway on the 2nd, which is this coming Wednesday. So if you want to get on that, you got to get it done in the next couple of days. So, and until next week, don't PP in the cold box. You ruin food. Don't do that. We don't need food ruined. There's a shortage of, according to all the leftists. So we don't want to ruin any more food by PPing in the cold box. Don't do it. If you got a PP, use the toilet. I don't care how much beer you've drank. The refrigerator is not the bathroom. And on that note, good night, and we will see you next week.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, this is where you yell your catchphrases, guys.
shall not be infringed.
Peace out.
Pay it forward.